This week, France decided 5 more years of Emmanuel Macron, but what does his re-election mean for the future of French politics?
We are all aware of the huge responsibilities that we have on our shoulders.
Newsnight has been in Poland, where the plight of refugees fleeing Ukraine continues. And we interrogate China's COVID policy, where people say they're starving and unable to work, and where deaths have spiked. Hello. So the week started with Emmanuel Macron confirmed as France's president for the next 5 years, and the first to be re-elected in 2 decades. But at a victory rally in Paris, Macron said a solution was needed to find out why so many voted for his rival, Marine Le Pen, who secured the far-right's highest share of the vote yet. Our diplomatic editor, Mark Urban, was in Paris to ask where now for France. Some people say they're furious, others say they're angry, or they were angry, but they now feel so drained by it. They have bigger things to worry about, like paying their bills or the events that are going on in Ukraine. I think it's fair to say most people we spoke to were more angry with Boris Johnson than they were with Rishi Sunak, but of course we are in Rishi Sunak's constituency. And I did speak to one man who didn't want to come on camera, but he is a fan of Rishi Sunak. He said he believes he's done really well during the pandemic. He cited the furlough as a great example of that. And he says most people, or many people, broke the rules during lockdown. So Rishi Sunak should just pay his fine so we can all move on. Now, shortly after we spoke to people here, Rishi Sunak released an apology. The big question is, after what we've heard today, will that be enough?
Is the vaccine going to be compulsory, and what are the potential side effects?
It's a really good question. No vaccines in the UK are compulsory, and it's the same for COVID-19. The reason being, experts say making it compulsory can really damage confidence. But the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, is urging people to take up the vaccine, particularly those in the most at-risk groups. As for side effects, data from the Pfizer trials say they're mostly very mild. Of course, no medication is 100% risk-free. If millions are immunised, we're going to see potential side effects appearing, but the hope is that they're going to be monitored very closely and patients will report any problems they have along the way.
Hospitals are focusing on people who are over 80 and some health staff. Well, our health correspondent Anna Collinson is at St George's Hospital in London for us this morning. Anna, what are they expecting there today?
Yeah, good morning. Welcome from St George's Hospital in South London. And as you say, the second day of the vaccine rollout is happening. So Angela, you work in a care home nearby.
That's correct.
Talk me through what this moment means and the year you've been through.
Yes, it has been a really hard, really restrictive year for residents and staff.
Now, there will be some people watching right now who are thinking, why aren't we hearing from the NHS this morning or others in authority who can talk about this? And perhaps our coverage seems one-sided. What do you say?
I'd say that would seem fair, and I would understand why people would potentially think that. What I would say is I've been trying with my colleague Jess since October to try and get the relevant health bodies to come on our programme, to sit down in front of a camera so we can go through our findings, or to come on the programme today. We actually pushed back the date of this programme by a week because of the election to give them a bit more time so they could come on, but unfortunately no one was available.
I mean, so many people picking up on this.
Yeah,
Why?
I mean, who outside the UK knew what a WAG was yesterday? I'd love to know. But Rebecca Vardy and Colleen Rooney, for those who don't know what a WAG is, that's a term referred to a girlfriend or a wife of a sports player, normally a footballer, and there's sort of an idea of they're glamorous, they're beautiful, and they create and are involved in drama. That's sort of the stereotype. We've been inundated with tweets, with memes, people calling this the story everyone needs, particularly in the UK where we've got Brexit dominating. It's been a real light relief for a lot of people calling it War of the Wags. This morning, the traffic was at a standstill and there were police cordons and police vans all around the hostel. And lots of people were taking a moment to look at a building that until today they'd never even noticed. It was just another building until today, but today they've realised that that is the place that's believed that the attacker was staying. I did speak to 2 young women who were aware of the hostel. They said they'd grown up in the area and had said as children their parents had warned them about the hostel. They said, be careful about speaking to people who hung out there, they're a bit dodgy. They said that actually nothing bad had ever happened. They'd always felt perfectly safe, but that yesterday afternoon as soon as the attack happened, there was a lot of commotion outside their flat. They looked out the window and they could see the hostel. There were police cars outside and they saw 5 or 6 people being escorted, and there was a helicopter overhead. One of the big highlights was Ariana Grande. I mean, I'm a fan of hers anyway, but the ball gown she was wearing last night was insane, including matching gloves. Now, it's reportedly 20 foot in diameter, and fans were saying before the show had even started that she'd won the night already, that it was all about Ariana. She also did a set of her own hits, but this is what we're probably all going to remember her for.